I'd like to show you how to do some user inputs. Now what we'll do is we'll open up a template that we already have. Go to the end of the template. I'm going to add a couple of steps. So that's steps here. Next I'm going to go to edit user inputs. I'm going to show you how to edit several different ones. In the first step, we'll just do a really simple one, collect like a serial number. And basically all we have to do here is just add a label, and that's fine. And just so we can kind of keep track of stuff, I'm going to just put in enter serial number. All right. Next step here, I'm going to ask them to enter a resistance for R1. And I'm going to do something that's just a little different here. Again, I'll put a label on it. And I'm going to put a limit of 8 and 12 ohms. So I want a resistance between 8 and 12 ohms to pass this step. Alright, again, I'll apply it. I'll say OK. And for the third one here, we'll do one more variation of this. We'll just do a list box. Alright, and we're just going to say enter color, and down here we'll say, is it red, is it white, is it blue, and I want them to answer one of the questions in the box. I don't want them to type in their own answer, so we'll go ahead and apply that. So here's our first three type, and let's just do a run on those just to see what it really looks like. Whoops, I forgot one thing here. I should just say enter outer color. Give somebody a clue what we're asking them to do. And so we'll go ahead and we'll run a preview edits. So of course, first thing it's asking for is the serial number. Just to pretty much type anything we want, and we can pass it. Next one, we're asking for resistance. And if we put in resistance that's outside the range and we try to pass it, it's going to tell us that it's outside of the range. It's also going to run us into the troubleshooting here. And we'll just say resistance high. Learn how to spell. We don't need to be too detailed here. And if I go back in and I run it and I get a good value, of course it's going to ask me how did I fix it. I'll say I cleaned the contact or whatever I did to fix it. Give it a error code, and away we go. Third one here is asking me to enter the outer color, and I can enter red, white, blue, and I'm happy as can be. Alright, so let's go ahead and exit preview mode, go back in the template, let's go a little more difficult. Alright, what we're going to do this time is we're going to add a EDL. List box. The EDL is a link to another database. A lot of times you might have existing databases, and as long as you can connect it through an ODBC, I can hook to it. So if we say I want an EDL, actually let's do a list box EDL, that makes more sense. So we'll go ahead and do a list box here, and I'll just say I want to configure it, and I'm going to pull this sample from Northwind database. I might have multiple databases available, it's not a problem. Again, for the OBDC, I'm going to try to show you how to set up an OBDC connection. It's when you create that in Microsoft, ask you for a name, and you just use the same name here. If I were to browse, I've got several different copies of Northwind, but I can also do an Access database, an Excel file, whatever I need to use. From the database, what am I trying to get? I'd like to maybe go ahead and get a supplier name. So maybe I'll use supplier's company name. And I'll select that, and then I'm okay from there, and I'll apply it. It does want a label, so I want to say company name, okay, and okay. For the next one here, now that allowed us to select a company name, but later on in the process I may want to supply to show something. So So what I can actually do here is now is I can go and say, do an EDL edit box. All right, and then when I configure, and what I actually want to do now is on the suppliers, we'll look at perhaps the contact name. All right, and I'll say OK, and that was contact name. And I might want to add another one that is the phone number. So now if I go to Northland and I say supplier and phone number, I can say OK. Again, I do need to put a label on there. So now if we go ahead and run this in preview edit, what it's doing is it's going to ask me, okay, well, what's the company name for my supplier? And I'll select from the list out box, and it will go ahead and get that data. And then I magically have the contact name and the phone number later on in the process when I need to display it. And that is the basics of user inputs. Thank you very much.